Think about the last time you lost your temper. Maybe it was traffic. Maybe it was an argument with someone you love. Maybe it was a work deadline that pushed you past your limit. In that moment, your heart was racing. Your thoughts were spinning. You said or did something you probably regret. Now think about this. What if you could have stopped it? What if, in that exact moment, you had a technique that could bring your heart rate down, clear your mind, and help you respond instead of react? Would your life look different? I used to think calm people were just born that way, that they had some genetic advantage I didn't have. Then I spent years studying the science of emotional regulation. And I discovered something surprising. Calmness isn't a personality trait. It's a skill. And like any skill, it can be learned, practiced, and mastered. Today, I want to share 5 techniques that completely changed my relationship with stress. They're backed by neuroscience. They're simple enough to use in the middle of any situation. And they work. Number 1, use physiological sighing. This is the fastest way I know to reset your nervous system. And it takes exactly 6 seconds. Here's what you do. Breathe in through your nose. Then before exhaling, take one more small sip of air. Then exhale slowly through your mouth. That's it. One breath in, another short inhale on top, then a long exhale. Why does this work? Because when you're stressed, your lungs collapse slightly, making it harder for your body to release carbon dioxide effectively. The double inhale reinflates those small air sacs in your lungs called alveoli. And the long exhale activates your vagus nerve, which tells your nervous system it's safe to calm down. And you can do it anywhere without anyone noticing. The next time you feel stress building, take one physiological sigh. Just one. Notice what happens. Number 2, name the emotion to tame the emotion. When you're overwhelmed, your brain's emotional center, the amygdala, is in overdrive. Meanwhile, your prefrontal cortex, the part responsible for rational thought, is essentially offline. The problem is that these two parts of your brain have an inverse relationship. When one is active, the other is suppressed. So how do you activate your prefrontal cortex when you're flooded with emotion? The answer is surprisingly simple. Label the emotion. Research from UCLA shows that when you put your feelings into words, your prefrontal cortex activates and your amygdala calms down. It's called effect labeling. Instead of being consumed by the feeling, you step back and describe it. I'm feeling anxious right now. I'm noticing tension in my chest. My thoughts are racing, that's it. You're not trying to fix anything. You're not judging yourself. You're simply observing. And something remarkable happens. The emotion loses its grip. It becomes a passing state instead of a defining identity. The next time you feel overwhelmed, try saying out loud or even silently, "I notice I'm feeling stressed right now." Watch how quickly the intensity drops. Number 3, create a mental pause button. Most people go through life on autopilot. Something happens and they react instantly. There's no gap between stimulus and response. Between stimulus and response, there is a space. In that space is our power to choose our response. The question is, how do you create that space when you need it most? The answer is a technique called tactical breathing, also known as box breathing. Inhale for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. Exhale for 4 seconds. Hold for 4 seconds. Repeat 3 times. That's 16 seconds. Less than 20 seconds to completely shift your physiological state. I use this technique before difficult conversations, before important decisions, and any time I feel reactivity building. It doesn't eliminate the stress. The space where I get to choose, not just react. Number 4, zoom out. When you're in the middle of a stressful situation, everything feels enormous. The problem feels permanent. The stakes feel impossibly high. The discomfort feels like it will never end. This is a cognitive distortion called tunneling. Your brain narrows its focus to the threat in front of you, making everything else disappear. And the antidote is perspective. Here's a technique that helps me. When I'm stressed about something, I ask myself 3 questions. Will this matter in 1 hour? Will this matter in 1 week? Will this matter in 1 year? Most of the time, the answer is no to at least 2 of those questions. And that immediately shrinks the problem down to its actual size. Not because the problem isn't real, but because your brain is terrible at estimating importance in the moment. It needs help zooming out. Try it. The next time you feel overwhelmed, ask yourself the time questions. You'll be surprised how much smaller the problem looks from a distance. Number 5, this is the most important one. Build a daily practice before you need it. Here's the mistake most people make. They try to learn calmness in the middle of a crisis. It's like trying to learn to swim after you've been thrown into deep water. It's possible, but it's much harder than it needs to be. The people who stay calm under pressure don't just have good techniques. They have a daily practice that trains their nervous system to be resilient. Meditation, journaling, exercise, cold exposure. These aren't just wellness trends. They're forms of training for your nervous system. When you practice deliberate calmness for 10 minutes a day, you're building neural pathways that make it easier to access calmness when you really need it. Think of it like exercise. You don't go to the gym so you can lift heavy things at the gym. You go to the gym so you can lift heavy things in life. Same with emotional regulation. So start small. 3 minutes of deep breathing in the morning. 1 minute of gratitude before bed. A short walk without your phone. These tiny practices compound. And months later, you'll find yourself staying calm in situations